Hi, it's Diana, and welcome back to episode 3 of the Clay County Speaks podcast. We are hosting somewhat of an emergency podcast today, but it's got a real tight turnaround from the other one that we just released. But this is a very important issue that is currently occurring in our community here in Clay County, Florida. We will be discussing the very real possibility of our teachers not receiving any sort of raise despite possibly having the budget for it. And so today we're going to be speaking with Vicki Kidwell here next to me and Cameron May. Vicki is the president of the Clay County Education Association, and Cameron here is a substitute teacher in Clay County. So let's talk about it. So first, could we, Vicky, you can just start by explaining like who you are, what your position is, and like the main reason, like what is happening here in Clay County with the teachers.
Sure. So I'm the president of the Clay County Education Association for about 5 years now. Prior to that, I was a teacher for 2 decades in Clay
Oh
County,
wow, okay, cool.
primary grades. I like the little ones.
Oh,
Um,
sweet.
and they love me. So the mission of the Clay County Education Association, which is the official professional organization of teachers, is to advocate for better working and learning conditions for Clay County students
Okay.
and teachers, and to make sure that Clay County is reaching the excellence that we know that they can. Our teachers work really hard. We work to advocate for our teachers. We think teachers are the experts in the classroom and that their
As they
voices
should
need
be.
to be heard on the district level. So when they have concerns about their students or about their working conditions, we voice those concerns and amplify them.
Oh, perfect. All right. And Cameron, you want to speak a little bit on who you are, what you do?
My name is Cameron May. I was born and raised in Clay County. My mom worked in the school district for a few decades. I have a lot of teacher friends from substitute teaching, and I am also very intrigued about what Vicky has to say.
Beautiful.
Yes.
All right. So right now there we are in an impasse for the budgeting. Is that correct?
For bargaining, yes.
For
Yep.
bargaining. Okay. So for our listeners who might not be like familiar of what an impasse is, can you just give a little explanation as to
Sure.
what's going on with that?
Absolutely. So in Florida, um, the educational unions are statutorily they are the official bargaining agent for wherever they are. For us, it's the teachers. So we're the official bargaining advocate for the teachers. And every year we bargain. We get together with the district has a bargaining team. We have a bargaining team. We get together and we try to negotiate a compromise of what we want and what they want. Meet in the middle.
Okay.
And this year we are at impasse because we feel like after we started August 28th, but we feel like after many sessions of bargaining, there's been no movement on the district side. So there's not a willingness to compromise. So we feel that there's not going to, we're kind of at a deadlock. So impasse and deadlock, they're kind of like the same thing. So when you declare an impasse, you're saying, I don't think, doesn't matter how many times we come to the table, we're not going to be able to reach a compromise. So therefore, we're declaring an impasse and we want a neutral party to decide what's fair.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to step back and we're going to present our cases to a neutral party. In Florida, the neutral legislative party is the school board.
Oh, is it?
No,
I'm kind of learning about this
they are the
topic as well.
So they take off their school board hat and they
Yes.
put on their
School board hat.
legislative hearing hat, their legislative hearing, and they hear both sides. Both sides will present, and then they are tasked with a very strong. I mean, it's a really strong. It's a hard job, but they have to step back and they have to say what's fair, and then they have to make a recommendation.
Okay, and so and they're like definitely unbiased, correct?
Well, they're supposed to be unbiased, but as you know, in Florida, things are difficult for educators in Florida. There's a lot of things that we don't feel are necessarily fair or equal for educators. That's the climate that we're in, and that's the process that we have, and so that's the only step open to us. So that's what we're doing.
Okay, that's perfect. But how do we get to this point? Honestly, like, was there what happened? What happened here?
So we started bargaining in August, and the district right away said we don't have any money, and so we spoke to them. We had a couple sessions where we talked about language, just some changes we wanted to see in language. Then we brought forth our proposal. When we brought forth our proposal, we asked for a plan going forward for salaries. Traditionally, one of the things that we've been really stressing to the district is they have to plan for competitive salaries because our neighboring districts, St. John's and Duval, all have avenues of funding where they are paying between, I'm not kidding, $4,000 and $10,000 more than Clay
What?
to teachers. So our teachers are leaving and going there.
Going there.
They
Yeah.
have a funding source in their millage, and their millage that the voters in St. John's and Clay and Nassau and many other counties voted for is a response to the lack of funding from the state. They knew that the state was underfunding them. They knew that they wanted to be competitive with their salaries. So they wrote their referendums, their millages, and presented them to the voters. And in St. John's, it's 85% of their millage funds go to salaries.
Wow.
And in Duval, it's 65% of their millage funds go to salaries. So Clay is not competing with that, obviously. I mean, the money that every district gets from the state is falling behind. I think we're 43rd in per pupil spending in the nation, 50th in average teacher pay. So you can see there's a trend here to underfund our public schools. And because of that, districts have had to be very innovative. Like, how am I going to keep teachers, right? How am I going to keep them? And so these other districts have made these plans. They're great. So when we made our proposal to Clay County District Schools, we said, you need to show our teachers the reason they need to stay in Clay. Show them your plan. Look, take $3 million from the millage this year, because we have a millage as well.
Yeah.
But ours is written as safety, security, and operating
Yes, that's what I was
expenses.
gonna ask.
But operating expenses are salaries,
Yes.
okay, or whatever,
Okay.
right? So we said you need a plan. Take $3 million from this year for the millage, from the millage. Take $3 million again, more $3 million more next year, and then the next year get a referendum renewal, because it will be up for the renewal of our referendum. Ask the voters to have a similar millage like St. John's and put a very large portion dedicated to competitive salaries so we can compete. That's how we're going to stay in A. We're going to keep our teachers here because we're going to be able to compete with salaries. Just show the teachers you have a plan. They want to stay in Clay. They love teaching in Clay, but they are saying right now we can't afford it. So first, that was our first proposal. This is what we want. They said no, we cannot use the millage for teacher salaries. It's not transparent enough to the voters. We pushed and pushed on that. They said, no, teachers are not safety and security. So finally we said, okay, this isn't going to work. So we pivoted. We said, we're going to find you another way to fund salaries. So we did. We dug into the budget and we found $4 million in materials and supplies. And so again, what I'm saying to you is we've moved, right? We presented a different proposal, less, broke it up in a different way, and found a different funding source. They said, no, you can't do that because that money is earmarked. They said that's already been spent. They said, even though it's in next year's budget spent. So we said, okay, here we go. Here's a third avenue for funding. Your fund balance is 5.68%. We just want 0.68. Just give us 0.68% of the fund balance. Now, districts have to have 3% by law. By the state mandates you must have 3% in fund balance. We have 5.68 as of the end of 24-25. So just give us 0.68 and make sure every teacher gets a raise. We presented them with the plan. It was 700, started at 700 for our first year teachers, went up to 1,500 for our most senior teachers. So it was graduated to, recognize the experience, which we feel is very, very important. They said no, and they gave us the exact same proposal every time. And so that's why impasse. So when they come across with there's no movement, that's what makes it an impasse. There has to be compromise and movement, and there hasn't been any.
There hasn't been any sort of movement.
And the money that they are offering too, and this is really important, the money that they are offering is not their money.
Whose money is it?
It's the state's money. So the state offers something called the TSIA, the Teacher Salary Increase Allocation, and they've done that for several years because Florida's salaries were in the bottom of the barrel so bad they said, "Oh my goodness, 39,000 is the starting teacher pay. That's awful. We have to do something." Rightly so. That's what the state said. But what they did is they did it in a poor way. I feel they created more problems. They took that money and they attached a whole bunch of rules, and they made that money go only on the bottom salary. Nothing. They wouldn't let us
Yes.
negotiate it any other way. So now we have compression.
Okay.
So we have the brand new teachers making the same as a 17-year
Yeah.
teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh,
that was
Isn't
the problem that was
isn't
caused by
it
that.
That's not right.
48,000 is the base pay for new
48.5
teachers?
is the base
Yes.
in Florida, in Clay County right now. So they're using the TSIA money that the state gave, which is only 0.54% above what it was last year, which is something like a little over $1 million. And they're saying, here's the money that you get for raises this year, starting at 400 and going up to 800, but only for 10 years and up. Anybody 9 years and lower gets zero.
That is just not fair. Where did we leave off?
Well, so I think really looking at what the district is proposing is really important in understanding why we're at impasse. So the district proposed the TSIA money, the money the state said, here, we're going to continue to give you some money because teacher salaries are so bad.
Mm-hmm.
But it was only 0.54% over what they gave last year. So
0.54.
0.54. So they give the money and they continue to give the money because otherwise, it's salaries are reoccurring, right? You have to keep giving the money. So
right.
They give the money and then whatever they put on top would be a salary raise. So that salary raise is 0.54. It's like 1.2 million total over, 2,800 teachers. So
how many teachers did you say?
2,821.
And so okay, so you got 2,821 teachers and there's should be split. How much was that again? It was
so the school board said they heard us. So we have been complaining about veteran teacher pay for a long time because of the compression, right?
Right.
So when you have your teacher that's brand new making the same as your 20-year teacher, or the 20-year teacher's making 2,000 more,
there's like no incentive,
awful
honestly.
For morale. Like they're like, forget it. I can go over to St. John's and make 10,000 more because they pay their veteran teachers 10,000 more. That's salary supplement I was talking about.
And I don't think this is not to say that it's not to pit new teachers against veteran teachers.
Right.
It's more to say that the new teacher pay should be on par with other states, but you should also raise veteran pay at the same time. It shouldn't be a fight against the two. It should be that there should be a pay increase for both.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Especially with 2.9% inflation.
Yes.
It's been crazy, and our teachers are all telling us they're having trouble buying groceries. I mean, 48.5 is a good starting salary, but can you imagine 48.5 and you're a single mom?
Yeah.
And
48.5?
You're trying to buy groceries.
You have to pay for your own
I can't
supplies.
even imagine that, to be honest, because I was making something close to that in South Florida when I was living there, and nope, that was not nearly enough.
Yeah.
For I was a single female with a cat.
Yep.
And that's not enough.
Well, when you look at and I don't know how long you've been here in Clay, but when you look at like the new apartments that they're building, and you look at how much they're charging for an apartment, 2-bedroom apartment, or it's $1,800.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, how can a teacher afford that? Well, they can't.
No,
that's what the teachers are telling us. They can't.
Okay.
So I want you to, I'm going to try to paint a really clear picture of what they've been this is all they've offered. The TSIA money from 10-year and up, which tops out at $800. So it's between $400 and $800 annually. And then anybody 9 years and below, zero. So that's all 1.2 million is
that
good
really
for.
Is that
that's,
really
that's
how
it.
That spreads?
That's how it spreads. Well, they take salary and benefits, they take all the benefits, they take everything out of it, right? They take any workers' comp they have to pay, any benefits, any Social Security, all of that has to come out of any raise and all of that, so that it's a zero out for them.
What about healthcare?
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
I don't know how the teachers work over here, like, honestly. So is healthcare part of it? Like, do you guys get healthcare?
We have insurance. Our insurance is not as good as Duval or St. John's, I think everybody's insurance costs are astronomical right now, but
Yes.
it's rough in Clay. The one good thing that's happened in Clay is that we have worked together to go self-insured, and we
Mhm.
haven't had a rate increase for 5 years, so that's been wonderful. But we
That's
have,
good. All right.
so that's been really good. But still, I mean, it's the teacher part of it. Like if I'm just a single teacher and I'm covering me, it's reasonable. If I have kids to cover or a husband to cover because he's a private contractor or whatever,
Right.
the cost is upwards of $700 a paycheck. So it's really unaffordable in that way for families. But I think everybody's in the same boat with insurance costs. I mean, and then that's just your premiums. That's not including all your deductibles and your co-pays and all of that. So don't even get me started.
Diabolical.
Insurance is another whole podcast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah.
So, but
Don't get me
the struggle
started.
that we have is that the district looked at that money, the TSIA money, and they said, okay, we're going to put in about they put in about $28,000 of their own budget money into with the pot in with that TSIA money to make it come out with 400 to 800. Even that money from TSIA wasn't enough for just 10 and up, 400 to 800. They had to put in about 28,000 of their own money to make it work out right. And that's still 1,280 teachers got zero.
Wow.
That is diabolical and insulting, to be honest.
And they wanted to serve our veteran teachers, and my hat's off to them for that, but they're not listening. Like veteran teachers, 400 to 800 more. Our veteran teachers told us that is a slap in the face. That's what I mean. We surveyed them because we were like, what do you want us to do? Do you want us to accept this? Do you want us to keep fighting? They were all like, keep fighting. This is a slap in the face. This is ridiculous. And then, of course, the ones that got zero, they feel the same way. They're like, I can't buy groceries. I'm going to Duval. So I'm trying to talk everybody off the ledge. Like, no, stay in Clay. Clay, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. It has been rough.
We can only put them off for so long. Before they wanna move.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And here's the crazy thing: the new CFO sits at the bargaining table and says, "It's not going to be any better next year." Now, what am I supposed to say to our teachers?
Yeah.
That's rude.
How am I supposed to say?
How are you gonna how do you keep them to say if you're telling them it's not gonna get better?
We've got to do better. We've got to do better. They've got to, I don't care. They've got to cut something else besides what they're cutting, because if they really honestly don't have the money, then, and look, don't even get me started on some of the stuff that they buy. Because teachers need to be a priority.
Yeah.
I think it's just about
absolutely, because the teachers have to, like, if they have their pizza parties, that comes out of their own paycheck. Like that's their checking account that it comes out of. The anything that they need for their schoolroom, it comes out of their pocket.
Teachers spend a lot on
it. Yeah, because they care.
Yeah, they
do. as they should. I mean, there are some that don't. But,
there are a few.
I have a question. I was just curious, how much of these budgetary issues in Clay, or maybe even in other counties, do you think is contributed to increase in vouchers, or maybe charter schools, or just maybe public money going to private schools, or for vouchers, or just things like that?
So you asked me how much of the budget issues come from that.
Yeah.
Oh, a lot.
A lot, yeah.
If you look at how much the state is spending on vouchers, the vouchers,
isn't it billions?
Billions. Yeah. And these are kids that maybe never even went to a public school ever. Like they were in a private, they go to some fancy private school, right?
And they don't need they don't need the money.
Now, they don't need the money. Now we're just supplementing their private school. It comes from the public school funds.
I don't think I realized that.
It's insane.
And that's another whole podcast, because do you know that these charter and private schools can write off Disney tickets,
I'm sorry,
big screen TVs, vacations, big screen, college savings accounts? They can write all of that off as when they're taking our tax money and they're putting it into their little fund. And you and I we're paying for that with our taxes. And the regulations, if there's none. There's not. I mean, you look at it,
unchecked
public
power.
school.
Yeah, public schools. You got a whole list of.
Oh my God, it's a book.
Yeah.
It's like 1,600 pages. It's crazy. and the charter school book is like
That much.
16 pages.
But they still are getting public funds, even though they don't have to follow rules.
Correct.
Yeah, so like, because you have to
It's
pay to go to a
stacked.
charter
The
school.
deck is stacked.
Yeah.
No, a charter
a
school
charter
is
school-
considered a public school.
school. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So, but what happens is say your student, you decide you're going to put your student in one of the charter schools that we have here in Clay, and you get over there and you're not liking it, and so you're like, and this happens all the time. Like, my kid is like, they stick it in front of a computer. My kid's learning nothing, whatever, right? For whatever reason. Bring your kid back to public school. Charter school keeps the money. The money does not follow the student. There are certain times when public schools get paid, and if you time it right, the kid can be at the public school, and there's no money that follows them. It's all about the timing.
Wow. Okay. All right. So, and how do you think all of this is like affecting the students?
My goodness, that is my concern. My children went to Clay County. I actually graduated from Orange Park High School.
Ooh.
And
okay.
all three of my
you lived here
children.
your entire life?
Well, I'm Navy. I'll say Navy brat. My dad moved all over, but he retired here. And they said to him, when you retire in Clay County, that's the best. You've got kids retiring. And they weren't kidding. This is the best place to raise your kids. Clay County schools are amazing. And I raised my kids here. I went to school here, graduated, got married here. My husband graduated from Orange Park High School. I graduated from Orange Park High School. My kids graduated from Clay County schools, Middleburg and Ridgeview. And they went on to successful careers, right? So we have great schools. And they had wonderful, amazing teachers.
Okay.
And so when I think about how all of this affects students, I think about what happened to my nephew. Like, what about the students whose teacher just leaves in the middle of the year? That's happening. Or the teacher who starts the year with a sub. That's happening. That happened to my nephew. He started the year in algebra.
That's the worst one.
And he had a sub for months. Now, luckily, he has a teaching family. So he would bring his book and all his lessons home. His mom and dad would sit down with him. They would go over the lessons. They'd make sure he understood it. He would go back to school and teach his friends. And that happened for months until they got a
proper
teacher.
A certified
teacher. But the reality is we can't just have warm bodies. You can't get that time back. Like, I always struggled with math. I cannot imagine not having a certified teacher who knows what they're doing in the classroom and then trying to make up for that lost time.
Right.
That's detrimental to our kids.
Absolutely.
And we have so many of our special ed teachers who we can't fill those slots because that's the hardest job of all. Those are our most vulnerable students. It's the hardest job, though.
For sure.
And so, when people are talking about burnout and how stressed they are and how hard the job is, those are the first ones that go. And they love their kids, but you know what? They can love the kids in Duval County and St. John's
and get paid
too,
more.
And get paid more.
Get paid for their work.
And some of them are saying that. So I think anytime we don't have a certified teacher in a classroom, that is very detrimental to our students.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're gonna reach a tipping point in Clay. We are an A-rated school district, right? Consistently. Why?
The teachers.
Absolutely, it's the teachers. It's the teachers. What happens when a certain amount of those teachers go? And then we've got new, maybe want to be good teachers, but they aren't there yet, right?
Yeah.
They're catching up.
It takes time.
But it absolutely takes time to build capacity. And so we're going to reach a tipping point where Clay's not going to be an A anymore.
Yeah.
If your 8 or 9 year teachers want to leave, so we can have a raise, and we're going to get new teachers who don't have the same experience. So.
They'll get that experience here, a little bit of experience, and as soon as they have enough experience,
they're going to move on to the next.
Why wouldn't you?
I mean,
they live here and they work here, and the reason why I think they stay as long as they do through tiers, because I get them. They call me. I'm sorry. I get the letters all the time. I'm sorry. I really want to stay in Clay, but financially it's hurting my family. I can't do it. They want to stay. Many of them stay longer than they feel like they can. But ultimately, it's a choice they have to make for their families. And that's bad for students.
It is, yeah. And now, as a substitute teacher, does this affect you too?
There's certainly, I feel like there has been more openings than last year, and it's just gonna keep getting worse. And as we talked about earlier, but there's no building subs anymore, and I think that's because of more of the budget issues they're having,
Hmm.
and how because building subs get paid a couple dollars more an hour, I think, so they're just
You building subs?
building subs. Do you
What
want
are
to explain
Hmm.
what a
those?
building sub
So a
is?
bill we right after COVID, we negotiated for there to be something called a building sub, and the reason why is because there's always a certain amount of teachers that are out.
Yeah.
Like burnout is real.
Mhm.
Like
I can
teachers,
imagine.
I mean, sometimes they're just like, I just can't today, right? The pace is insane as a teacher. And so we would end up with, oh, they're trying to call subs, and then there wouldn't be a sub.
Yeah.
So they made a provision at that time to have a building sub. Like each building would have a sub. So when a teacher was out, boom, they throw
Yeah.
that sub over there, and then
Okay.
then they could try to call. They always had somebody waiting in the wings, which was really good. It's
Yeah.
good for testing. It's good for,
It's convenient.
but it
Yeah.
is an added expense, and that was one of the cost cutting measures that the district did. And I mean, I get that they're struggling to balance the budget. We understand that. um, I want everyone to know that we absolutely understand that every district is struggling with state funding.
Wow.
So
That's really sad, honestly. Like, we are a huge state. We rake in some money, and you think that at this point that they would use some of that medical marijuana money that they get. They tax that stuff. Where is that money going to? You'd think that they would use that kind of money for
Just any
this
money.
subject right here.
Yeah.
I'd like to know where they're funneling that money, but that's also another that's another podcast
it
episode.
absolutely would be. I'd like to know where that money goes to.
All right, so what are the next steps now?
So I think that what's going to happen for us is we have another bargaining session. We continue to bargain throughout Impasse. And our next bargaining
Okay.
session is Tuesday, October 28th
Okay.
at 4:30 at the pre-employment room in Green Coast Room on Walnut Street.
Is that like open to the public
It is
or?
absolutely open to the public. We have asked a lot of our educators to be there, and you know what we hear a lot? I'm doing my second job.
Wow.
That is what's happening with our educators. But some of them are saying, I can't. I'm doing my second job, but I'm sending my mother. I can't.
Yeah.
You know, blah blah blah. But so we hope to have a good turnout at that meeting. We really want them to look us in the eye and tell us that we're not worth more than zero, because zero is unacceptable.
Absolutely no, 100%.
And so that there'll be that, and then we have the school board meeting on November the 6th.
Okay,
And
that was gonna be my next question. I was like, I heard there was another meeting that we were gonna talk about. So
yes,
November 6th.
November the 6th at 6 o'clock. It's the regular school board meeting, and we would love for the public to show up in mass and support
You heard
teachers
that?
at their meeting,
public?
because the district does not feel that the public would support using millage funds for teacher salaries, and that's their fund, the big pot of funding that they have, that the voters voted for safety and security and operational expenses. We feel that teachers are safety and security. Teachers are the front line. Teachers
Yeah.
are the first responders. Like,
Mm-hmm.
who makes sure that, who does the lockdown? We've all
Yeah.
been trained in active shooter drills and lockdowns, and how to throw our bodies in front of our
Yeah.
kids, and where's the safe space. And we all know that our teachers are the ones that are going to put their lives on the line for our students. They are safety and security. Our teachers are there for the students. We just need parents to express to the district that they understand that they believe that, and that they actually are in favor of competitive salaries for teachers, because the
Do you
district
think
doesn't
so? For
believe that
the
now.
Did they already say that the operational part of the millage can't be used for the funding?
We have looked at it legally. It
Yeah,
can be.
it
They
can
don't
be.
want
They don't
to
want
use
it to
it. They
be.
don't feel that the public would support it.
But they can change. I
I
assume they could change. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I would hope that if there's an outcry in the public,
Yeah.
and there was enough people
Notification.
publicly, we've had people say, why don't you survey? You know how much it costs for a survey of Clay and size of Clay
Yeah.
County? I mean, and would they even believe it if we gave them the survey
Yeah.
results? And we said, why don't you survey? And they said, we can't afford to survey. So, we're kind of in this I mean, I think the public would support it, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. You know,
Like, what
Well, I
can
mean,
they
if we
afford?
voted
I'm
for,
humble enough to admit I
yeah,
could be
if
wrong.
we voted for a millage to begin with, that means I think people at least have a belief that schools, whether it's for safety, whether it's for fencing, something, they deserve more funding.
Mm-hmm.
Like people want schools to have adequate funding. Maybe it wasn't precise in the sense that we want this percentage going to teacher funding,
Right.
but it's still there was a majority that supported a millage for schools and teachers in general. So I wish it was more precise.
I do too.
Yeah.
And we have a chance to make it more precise
Yeah.
because this millage will sunset in no in June of 27, and it will be, we have the opportunity to put it back on the ballot in November of 26. So in November of 26,
Oh, wow.
what we would
Yeah.
like to do is we would like to the school district, and we're pushing the school district to mirror that language that St. John's and Duval have, where it's specific for salaries.
Are they the
And
ones that decide the wording of the millage, the school district?
yes, they do.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we would like the public to let them know that they would like the millage to be specific for competitive salaries, not just teachers. Look, our support people make nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another whole podcast.
Oof, all right.
I mean, they are all
Yeah.
at poverty level.
We got so many topics coming up.
I
at
mean,
this point.
education is a huge issue right now in the state. So we hope that the public will support renewal of the millage with different language that prioritizes competitive salaries for Clay County schools. That's what we hope will happen, and we're going to work for that, and we're going to encourage the district to do that as well.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so moving right along, is there any misinformation that is currently out there on this situation?
I think if there's any misinformation out there, it might be that you know, the district just doesn't have any money. Like the district just doesn't have money, and that's what the district is saying. If the district didn't have money, then I think the choices the district is making would be different. Like, for instance, the school board just got a 3% raise.
Wow.
And, you know.
So the school board got a 3% raise, and the teachers got a 0.6 at best, and maybe
not even
like they're 400
and not even all
$800.
teachers. Yeah.
Not all teachers,
Yeah.
but they had the 3% for the school board.
Well, so the state sets the salary for school board,
Mm-hmm.
and they said you can have, you know, we see, I'm assuming this is what they said, well, 2.9% inflation.
Yeah.
Here's a 3% raise. You can give them a 3% raise. That money comes from Clay County. It doesn't come. The state doesn't say here's the money. The state said here's the money. Okay, you know, fine. It's not their money, but they just say you can do it, and then the school board can refuse. They could say, oh no, the budget's too tight. I'm not going to take a 3%. $1,457 raise. No, I wouldn't do that when the teachers are only getting $800. I would never do that. But no, they said, yes, give me my 3%. And so these kinds of things make it hard for teachers to swallow the fact that they are buying digital marquees. This makes it hard for teachers to swallow, we have no money, that they're buying brand new communication systems. Teachers are like, hey, I'm a first responder. Come on.
Yeah.
So those kinds of, that would be, I would think, the misinformation out there that if the district has no money, then they need to make different choices all the way around, right? I mean, if we're really in that much danger, I care about Clay County. I wouldn't take a raise of 3% when I was giving teachers at a 0 or 800 max. You know, I wouldn't do it. So I think that would be the misinformation that's out there, is that's what they're saying, but this is what we're seeing, right? James Baldwin, I can't believe what you say because I see what you do.
Yes, big facts. Now what outcome would you consider a win or like a fair resolution for both of the sides for this upcoming bargain meeting?
I think that, look, first of all, we're not asking for a lot. We are not asking for the moon. We're not asking for you to close the compensation gap, that, you know, the salary compression. We're not asking for that. We're asking for everybody to get something, so that we're not getting, no one gets 0. That's not fair. And we are asking for it to be graduated up. So their raise was $14.57. We're asking for 700 for the 1 year teacher, up to 1,500 for the highest teacher, which is just a little bit more than they get for their part-time job. And so we think what we're asking for is fair. I think the reality is anything that is fair needs to make sure that people don't get zero.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
I'm not even asking for 2.9%. Just don't give a zero.
Right. No, zero is just, I've already said it. It's insulting. Like, that just angers me. I don't have children, but like that angers me.
Well, it's hard to keep teachers.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to sell teachers on staying.
Of course. Right.
You know.
Because like, how are you going to convince somebody like, hey, we have great schools, but
We're the lowest
Yeah.
paid
we're the
in
lowest.
Northeast Florida.
You're
And
gonna get pennies on the dollar.
And it shouldn't
maybe,
take dropping
maybe.
to a B rating in the county for them to do something.
it absolutely shouldn't. And we have a button, and our button says, "How will Clay stay an A with F rated pay?"
Yep.
And that's it right there. Like, who's
That's
going to
actually
want?
a good slogan.
I mean, how are they going to do it when they keep losing teachers?
Right. No, absolutely. So now we are going to be wrapping this up here. Is there anything that you would like to leave our viewers with? Do you want like to just like to get the word out? You want people to share, or like, for social media? Is this getting lost on social media? Has this been like kind of, I guess I'm trying to ask is like, has people been like like sharing this information on their social medias to get this sort of issue out to the public?
I think
If that makes
I
sense,
think
I
it's
feel like I
really
stumbled over my
difficult. I
words.
mean, we as a union have a social media presence. We have Facebook, which I know old people Facebook, but and then we have some younger teachers that started in Instagram, but it's not really real active. I think the reality is that it's a it's a it's a difficult it's a difficult walk. You can't contact your students' parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't talk about it in there. So I mean that would be considered, I guess, unethical, right? So they share it on their social media, but their parents aren't on the social media. I've sent out a press release to all the news media. I mean, does anybody read the papers anymore? I mean, I don't know. I feel like teachers who are members of the community are they're very usually humble. Like, they don't broadcast their problems. They don't tell you until they're hanging by the threads of the rope, and then they call me and they say, I can't take it anymore, I'm leaving. And I'm like, you should have called me before now. I mean, I hope we've encouraged them. Please talk to your community, talk at your church, talk to your family, put it on your social media, let everyone know what the reality is of working in Clay, and how many jobs you have to have, and how tight your budget is, and that they're being offered zero. So I hope that is being amplified by the community, and I hope that this gets the word out to the community, and that, because it really, Clay schools are amazing, and I don't want anybody to think that I don't think they're amazing. They absolutely are. I want to keep them amazing.
Of course.
And the only way to keep them amazing is to keep our great teachers.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
I encourage every community member out there to spread the word. And teachers need a raise. Teachers need the referendum to pass for salary increases. Teachers need people to speak up for them at the school board meeting.
Mm-hmm.
We need your voices. I mean, you can write the school board pretty easy. Just go to the website and you just click write all school board members. It goes to all of them.
Yeah.
And tell them
So
no zeros.
If so, with the Clay County Democrats, with us, like, would you think, what would you like us to do? I mean, because Cameron, I don't think we discussed this yet, but you are the president of the Young Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think you can do to help get this word out with the younger community?
The younger community. Well, we do have access to, the voter rolls. We can email people. I think we can send in sort of like an email chain to people for the November 6th school board meeting.
Oh, that'd be
Get as
great.
many people there as possible. I can talk to Jackie about that, but I'm sure we can send out some sort of mass email to
Okay.
registered voters, nonpartisan, and Democrats in Clay County, and get the word out that there's going to be a meeting? What should
Yeah,
people
I don't
wear?
even think
Or
this is like a partisan issue.
no,
Honestly,
it's
this
not
is
at all.
an
No.
everybody issue.
Yeah.
Everybody has kids, and from all angles, and they all go
Yes.
to the schools in Clay County.
Yeah.
So we're asking people to wear either black or red.
Okay.
And attend November 6th school board meeting. It starts at 6. There'll be a school showcase. I, at this point, have not had time to look on and see who it is.
Okay.
But there will be a time for public comment. And if they are willing, we would love for them to come and speak. We're also talking about having signs outside and having people hold signs outside. So as the public comes in, they're becoming aware of what's going on. As you said, parents, a lot of times they don't know what's going on in their schools.
Yeah. I mean,
until they
the
lose their
parents,
teacher.
right? Exactly. And they're like, wait, what happened? Well, this has been a fantastic episode. Thank you so much for joining us
thank
on
you, Diana,
this.
for having me.
Oh, of course. And
we
thank
learned
you,
a lot
Cameron.
too.
Yeah, I learned a lot.
Too, yeah.
I mean, especially because like I'm relatively new up in Clay County, and I don't have children, so I definitely learned a lot about this situation. And it's terrible. And we need to do something about that. Hopefully, we can get this word out, and we need the community to join together. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat, Republican, Independent. It doesn't matter for this one. These are your children, and you need to care about that. And the teachers. This is the future of America, and that is the most important part. From this point, I guess, like, just, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, repost on this podcast, post on all the socials, and this is fantastic. Have a great night.
Thank you.